Adrienne, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Cyrus. Thanks for having me.
So please explain your role and how you're involved at ASEE.
I'm currently serving as the president of ASEE. That is a 3-year cycle. So you spend a year as president-elect, a year as president, and then a year as past president. And I'm nearing the end of that middle.
So can you tell us in your own words what you would say the core mission of engineering is?
Engineering overall, the core mission is to solve problems. We do that in a variety of ways. There's a design process, depending on the field of engineering, the subdiscipline, it's approached in a very different manner. But in reality, we are the ones that take fundamental scientific knowledge and apply it into the world to be able to solve problems. Here in the United States, our culture is really derived from a military-like style, is one that has approached engineering in a very linear fashion. And the process is to figure out how to disregard information to be able to get to a well-defined problem that can be solved. And our world is so complex now that we need to rethink that culture of disregarding information and instead work to include information, include people, and include voices who understand those many other dimensions so that our engineered solutions are much more robust.
Well, we know that culture is something that we start ingraining in our lives very, very young. So would you say that the practices and skills that we develop in our students place greater importance on some information and maybe lesser on others?
Absolutely. There is a hierarchy of what is real engineering. We tend to value those items that can be described with mathematical equations. So if there's a system of differential equations and the person who has the skills to be able to solve that, we tend to regard those fields, that work, more highly. They're paid more, they're treated, as elite in many regards. But those other fields that take into account the social dynamics, the impact on nature, the environmental, that side of things, or the communication, those sometimes even get termed in a way that diminishes the value and importance of it. But anything we engineer, that value depends on its context. And if we don't fit the context right, then we end up with a very poorly developed product.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of context, we're talking about a lot of changing forces and that are influencing our world and our society. So should we revisit these practices and skills with valuing and utilizing information in the engineering context?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In doing that, what we'll also do is find that our people who are willing to engage in those conversations with us are going to offer broader and broader perspectives, and we will be positioned to get to solutions that are much more robust and last for longer. An example of this is the internal combustion engine, and the progress that enabled was huge. There was little or no attention paid to the gaseous byproducts from that. They seemed negligible at the time. And as the number of vehicles have increased in our world, and we now have jets and et cetera that are all functioning on combustion principles, those gases are now impacting global climate and weather patterns. And so it becomes important to be able to focus in, not neglect information, pay attention to it, listen to all of the people that do see that and do note the ripple effects of other systems that it impacts.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, Adrienne.
Absolutely.